Yo, what's up, everybody? Rev Sauce 9. We're proud to be sponsored by Poggers. If you use my code at checkout, Revy9, or the link, you will save 10% on your order. Guys, they are an energy drink supplement company mixed in with some sleep aid stuff. For you gamers out there that have a hard time sleeping, they got you. They got you on energy drink stuff. They got you on everything as far as energy drink and sleep stuff go. They also have bundles where you could buy shakers and whatnot. They have different flavors. They just launched Rocket Pop. Down below in the description will be my link, or also you can use Revy9 at checkout to save 10% on your next order. Thanks again, Poggers, for sponsoring this channel, and let's get back to the video. Okay, so I thought I'd take two of this. My first take of this, I didn't really like the direction it was going, so sometimes I'll take a video down and retake it for you guys. So here's the retake of the state of AEW. I'm going to be honest with you guys. And I hear it in my community. I hear it across the board. I get it. Creative. You guys want creative from AEW. That's not going to happen. AEW is focused and homed in on sports-centric. They want to be like a boxing organization or like UFC or PFL. And what are those organizations known for? Wild press conferences. That's what kind of AEW is doing. They're doing shoots. They're not really focusing on storylines like they once did. They've gone away from that. And I'm not wanting AEW to be the same as they were 2 years ago. I don't need them to be the same bland repeat stuff. I want them to be different. And let's just take our minds off the whole idea that AEW has to be like WWE. I'm not asking AEW to be WWE light. I'm asking them just to be an alternative. And for me, I'm pretty satisfied in 2024 with AEW. I'm pretty satisfied. You know, have they been great? No. Are they a turd? Absolutely not. Are they just garbage and they should be left in the gutter? No. And in fact, if you look at all the other companies out there, I just watched MLW, and I don't feel like AEW's competition to be number 2 is any better. I don't feel like TNA's any better. TNA is going to have a daunting task next year by filling in big arenas. They are going to bigger arenas, so we're going to see how TNA fares going into bigger arenas. If AEW can't even fill out an arena, supposedly that's the big thing. AEW can't fill arenas, so they suck. They're dying. Meanwhile they fill up half of an arena, and meanwhile, not everybody can go to wrestling shows that are privileged and have the money like that, but I digress. But they're dying, right? And you'll have a lot of wrestling channels, spread that narrative that they're dying, that they're a lost cause, they're on life support, but they have millions and millions of dollars to spend and millions of dollars to bring in wrestlers but meanwhile, I'm a sicko and I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just an AEW fanboy, a mark. I shill out for them. Tony Khan pays for my houses and my Rolls Royces and all that shit, right? And, I just find it funny how the IWC, YWC operate lately when it comes to talking about wrestling. We give WWE a pass, but AEW could do everything wrong in the book. And recently, Ryan Nemeth came out, and everybody's rolling with this, saying this is why AEW is dying and all this stuff, when Ryan Nemeth wasn't really relevant to begin with. The state of AEW is this. They got to fix creative. They need to kind of fix a lot of different things. TV, they got to get that right. Hopefully with this streaming stuff and they put their library on, it's accessible to everybody. I'm hoping that they do a little bit more with their titles. I'm grateful what they're doing with Konesuke Oteshida. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the international belt. The tag team belts, they are kind of getting on the right track with that. Hopefully they build on top of that. Hopefully they get the belt off of Okada eventually. The women's stuff, Monet's coming into her own. I'm happy with that. And now with them going to more intimate settings, I'm hoping with the Manhattan Ballroom, they get that right, or the Manchester Ballroom, or whatever it's called. Hopefully they get that right in smaller arenas. They should tap into convention centers. They should tap into smaller minor league baseball stadiums. They should tap into smaller things and make it different than what WWE's doing. I think AEW has an opportunity, if they want to retool, rebrand, redo whatever, and change their image, that's the way to do it. And I know a lot of people, well, that's still not good enough, Rev Sauce. They need to have stories. But again, AEW, really, they went away from that a long time ago. They're more about sports centric, more being like a boxing or UFC or PFL. And again, another thing, when we talk about ratings, let's just keep it a buck here. Ratings don't matter. Like, let's just flat out say it. Ratings don't matter because not everybody's being counted. People are cutting the cord. People are going away from traditional cable and satellite. People are going to streaming TV. And it is an opt-in, opt-out service when it comes to Nielsen ratings. Even Nielsen ratings came out and said that the guy that runs it, they basically said the same thing. It doesn't matter. And two, a lot of people are going and finding pirate streams. That's what's happening in 2024. A lot of people are pirating because the reason why is because it's not simulcast. The way certain streaming TV services work, you don't get it at live as it's happening. You get it on West Coast time or you get it on Central time and it's just behind or you're missing out. That's why I try to find it as live as it's happening because I'm missing out. You know what I mean? And I want to do my reviews at the same time as everybody else. That's why I like DirecTV Stream because I get it satellite time. So I get it as it's happening. Not everybody's privileged like that. On YouTube TV, you have to wait until like almost 10 o'clock at night to see it or 8, depending on where you're at. It's a little redonkulous and a little ridiculous. So I understand why people go out and they pirate it. And I understand why people, sometimes those services are not offered. So people go out, like especially Fubo. Fubo just got rid of TNT. So now people are having to go out and find it somewhere third party. So that's where your viewership's at. It's not because people are not watching. It's because people are having to go third party means to find it. And if they're not privileged like me that can watch it on satellite times live as it's happening. And meanwhile, my view still is not being counted because I've opted out of the data collection Nielsen rating thing. You can do the same thing on YouTube, by the way. There's settings in the settings. You can check and uncheck things, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Just pointing that out. But at the end of the day, that's part of the problem. The other part of the problem is a lot of people that were AEW fans at the very beginning, they were waiting for Vince McMahon to be fired. The only reason why they were there to begin with is because they were extremely upset at WWE and what was happening at that time. Now, since WWE's changed, they're under different management, Triple H is running the show, everybody walked back. And then people came back when CM Punk was around. And when CM Punk left, a lot of the diehards that were CM Punk fans didn't eat, sleep, breathe CM Punk and didn't care what he did or didn't do. They went back to WWE when he entered the building. And that's what happened. That was what happened with your viewership. A lot of your favorite wrestlers like Cody Rhodes and a lot of that went over to WWE, and so did the fans that were there, walked with him. And that's what happened. And a lot of people, just as I've heard from my community and a lot of the videos out there and a lot of the constituents out there and a lot of the stuff that's been said is basically this, that there's nothing to sink your teeth into. And it's the same with WWE right now. There's nothing really to sink your teeth into, to make you excited, to make you captivated, to make you stick around, to make you want to watch more. And that's what's happening. And that's another reason why viewerships are down. People got better things to do. A lot of people have tuned out wrestling. I know friends that were once watching wrestling. Now they're doing other things. They're watching sports because it's more interesting than watching a wrestling event. And some people just are sick and tired of their intelligence being insulted. That's pretty much why the viewership, that's pretty much why AEW is. And people are just, there's just nothing there for people. They're bored. They're disinterested. That's another reason. And another thing is when you have wrestlers shitting on the byproduct and you have people shitting on this, you have people shitting on that, it's going to turn wrestling fans off. And those diehard AEW fans are either turning off and not watching because there's nothing there for them to sink their teeth into, or they're just not caring anymore. And people grow old and tired of wrestling. That's another thing too. Like, people got to realize. And what doesn't help is Tony Khan's remarks at times, and some of the people at AEW, their remarks at times is kind of biased, fanboyish, and stuff like that. And it's just a little absurd. Again, AEW could turn themselves around. They're trying to. So far, Monet's kind of turned the page, which I want. Julia Hart, you got that going on. You got Jamie Hayter stuff turning around. You got Sky Blue coming back. Ring of Honor's kind of heating up a little bit. You kind of got different parts moving, and you got Tony Khan putting an effort into things somewhat. Hopefully they continue it. I do like the Jon Moxley stuff. I do like the Death Riders. I do like what they're kind of doing with Private Party. Max Caster, they're trying to do something, but the guy should be fired. Moving forward, hopefully storylines get better. They kind of pick up some things. I'm hoping after their next pay-per-view with kind of MJF and Adam Cole kind of doing. I'm not going to go to the levels of what Eric Bischoff said. They're garbage. They're terrible. They're in the gutter. They're awful. They're going to go away. And supposedly Warner Discovery is going to get rid of them. I highly doubt that. Warner Discovery needs them for the ads, and they put too much time and resources into these companies. And I do see Ring of Honor making it on True TV, aka soon to be the new TNT Sports at the beginning of the year. I think they got a TV deal brouhahaing, and I think AEW's got another TV deal brouhahaing with Fox somewhere with Shockwave. So anyway, my name is RevSauce9. These are my thoughts on AEW. AEW needs to fix a little bit of their creative. They need to do a little bit better at story-driven stuff a little bit and get away from some of that sports-centric. A lot of people kind of like to be entertained, kind of like soap operas, kind of like TV shows. You know, AEW could do a little bit better with those things. But to sit here and say they're on their deathbed or the views, when I hear views, I laugh because a lot of that's not being counted because people are pirating. People are going out third party to find it. A lot of people don't have cable. And if you put those numbers together and you count the DVR views behind it, a lot of it's not being counted. And if you're saying AEW is this bad off, I just watched other shows over the last couple of days, like outside of AEW and WWE, that weren't really that great, that they were all over the place. And people praise these other companies, but I don't feel like they stack up to a WWE or an AEW, in my opinion, or TNA to an extent. So that's just my personal opinion. Look, all companies have their pros and cons at the end of the day. What we want to see from AEW is them doing a little bit better. I hope they get there. I'm optimistic. I should say that better. And I just want to see AEW succeed. That's it. I think at the end of the day, this is my AEW state of AEW where they're at. They need to do better with storylines, better driven stuff. Have a clear direction, and they need to get the right staff in place. Once upon a time I said Shane McMahon should join their company because he would be a great little delegator and leader. I don't think that's going to happen. I think, Jon Moxley's kind of running the rooster coop at the moment, trying to figure things out. And they'll get it right. I hope they do. Because when AEW is on fire, it's best for business. When they're not, it's not best for business. But I want to see all companies thrive. I want to see all people thrive and win and do the things. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, this is my thoughts. Again, I hope this came and conveyed. I want to see AEW succeed, but I'm not wishing them death. I'm not wishing them all this crap, as all my other constituents are saying, or they need to be sued and Ray Phoenix is prisoned. Look, all that's designed by them. Ray Phoenix and all these people. Like, I can't blame Tony Khan for not being an owner on that situation. If I had my superstar talking shit about the organization, of course they're going to get fined. Of course, like I said in my prior video and all that, if LeBron James was talking all this shit, I said in my streams, he would be heavily fined and suspended. So what's the difference? Again, I say that. Anyway, my name's Rev Sauce. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.